love, fear, failure, success, and finally, survival. I've been through them all and came out stronger and healthier. Yeah, I went to a dark place, but talking about it pulled me out. My name is Sandy Cross, and this is Cross Conversations.
We're back with another episode of Cross Convos.
Hey.
Hello there.
How are you, Miss Shantae Sass?
Sandy Cross. Yes, that is I. I believe you want to talk about something called family ties. And should they or do they need to be kept post-breakup or divorce? This is going to be an interesting topic.
Well, in the beginning, Sandra fell in love and got married and then got a divorce.
Okay.
And with the divorce, there's always people, your friends pick sides. Even though most of his friends, I'm still friends with.
Okay. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I get a kick out of that. I don't know why, but it's so nice. And no, I'm very close to the family, very, very close to his family. And my nieces and nephews, they're siblings. They're like my children. I mean, it's just like I gave birth to them. I'm very close to them. And so post breakup, and even with some friends, I have friends who are siblings, they're brothers and sisters or sisters and sister. And one of them I don't talk to anymore. And then it's kind of weird because I guess the sibling expects the other sibling to stop talking to me as well. And it's just, I'm like, that's not necessarily how adult life is, right? It's not necessarily, I'm not friends with you, so nobody can be friends with you. But with friendships is one thing, but with marriages, especially when they have children involved, it's just a whole another ball game. It's a whole different situation. You have a little glow about you today.
It's the lighting and collagen in the morning. But anyways.
I'm just like, look at her glowing.
Look, so hold on. I heard you, and you said something about if there are kids involved, I guess it would be a little bit more complicated. But what if they're not? I mean, I guess as I'm listening to you, if the table was turned, would you have an issue with your ex hanging around your family?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If there are no kids involved, it'll be weird, but no, I wouldn't mind because you forged a friendship or relationship. You marry the family. You don't marry just the person. I'm a big believer in that. So if they're friends with, my family members, my parents, whatever, I encourage that. That's fine. Just as long as you don't expect, you don't get some of the perks that you used to when you were married to me. That's all I have to say.
Of course not.
You shouldn't expect it. Well, you shouldn't expect it is what I'm saying. But, some people, they're a little greedy and they want it all.
Yeah. No.
Oops, did I just go there?
No.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Well, you know what, though? I have a situation like that. I wasn't married to the person. We were together for some years, but I developed a really strong relationship with his family. Like, it was separate from him. It was almost like it didn't matter what he was doing. I'm with his family doing stuff. Unfortunately, his mother passed away, and I was devastated when she died because she was such a really good friend to me. But I still remained friends with his sister. And it's been about, 20 something, almost 30 years that I have still maintained contact with them. So maybe 20 something years, but maintain contact, still part of stuff, get invited to stuff. I went to their family reunions and we weren't even together. I had another boyfriend and went to, their stuff. And now,
wow,
but it's a little different. So what I do know though is today, and even before, I'm respectful of boundaries. So for instance, like I said, I'm really good friends with his sister, and she'll invite me to stuff. I'll come. And then in this one particular time, I think he was going to be down with his family and everything. And she's like, oh, you can come because you usually do come during this time. And I said, no, just enjoy your family. Like I didn't want to be there when he was there.
Right.
So I do respect that, and it's nothing like I have any feelings or nothing. It's nothing like that.
Oh, no,
it was just because it could be awkward. Because let me tell you, this is just something I'm going to throw in because I wrote a note about this. He got married twice, but anyways, first wife, her name was similar to mine. So when. So they would get it mixed up sometimes. The kids didn't know any better.
Oh.
They would say, oh, was this Shantae? Was this from Shantae? They're like, no, it's from his wife, Chantal, or something, whatever her name was, which was hilarious. So,
ouch.
That's how close I was. The niece and the nephew, all of them, or still am. I'm still close to them. So,
biscuits.
Yeah.
That's biscuits. That's messy.
But it takes an understanding too, though, right? So, I'm married. Right. Okay. So the husband understands. Yeah, the husband understands. He's like, you've been friends with them for however long, and he's respectful of that. And I think he's okay with it, unless he comes in here and makes a face at me as I'm telling you this. But I think he's been okay with it.
No, and I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with. With maintaining a relationship, maintaining a friendship, so I've had people that, I was dating and we're not together anymore. And they were very clear that he didn't want me to talk to any of his family, any of his friends anymore because, he's not around.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, so you're banishing me from people that we both know now and we both got, which was fine. It didn't really matter. I was okay with that. But it's just a sheer fact that somebody was like, no, you can't be friends with my friends if you're not going to be dating me. And then I just did the same situation, sort of kind of in a way with somebody I know broke up with his girlfriend. Right. And there was a situation where it's a family member. Woo. Sticky. Anyway, I've never shrunk away from stickiness, so I'm just gonna go full throttle.
Okay.
And apologize later. But anyway, I'm not gonna name names, but I know they know who I'm talking about.
Girl, you gotta keep going so I can follow you. Everybody else gonna struggle if you don't keep this going. Anyway, no, it just was. When they broke up, I became very good friends with the girlfriend. And when they broke up, she wanted to maintain that relationship because she wasn't very close with her mom. And so I was kind of like in the mood of, well, I am a perk of being with you. So if she's not with you, what does she think that she's going to have the perk of having me to come to for advice whenever she wants that mother figure that she doesn't have? You know what that tells me?
What?
You didn't really like her. Because if you did, wouldn't have mattered. Nope, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, yes, it only matters because sometimes when people separate, it can be done nicely or it could be a little sticky.
Yeah. No, I believe that.
So I think it depends on the situation. Now, if the situation was a little different, I may have been a little bit more receptive. You know what I mean?
So you're saying it depends on how the couple broke up. So if it was a bad breakup and devastating, then it's kind of hard to keep the ties with the family and friends.
Right.
Okay.
Especially if it's like a boyfriend. I mean, not that it's not a big deal, but it's a little different than if you have a wife. But when it's in like your first love or, it's just like, oh my God, your heart is like busted up. You
know what though? So the thing I was telling you about the guy that I was really, good with his family, his mom. Literally, he and I broke up and it wasn't pretty. It was ugly. And his mom was like, I don't care what's going on with you. You are with me. You're stuck with me. She was like, I don't care what he do. It's like she didn't want to let me go, which was funny. And I was like, I don't know if I can be around you. And, and she was like, I don't care what's going on with y'all.
That's really nice, though. I mean, I think that's showing respect for the relationship. That's Like, she took you in and she admired you and she respects you. And I think that's actually, that is separate.
Yeah, it was
She forged a
separate.
separate relationship with you. So I think that's a little different. And I, on the other hand, forge relationships with everybody in this family. And, after divorce or during divorce, people pick sides, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
is that what we're doing? Ooh, it was ugly. And I'm like, okay, so I knew who was in what faction and what sanctions and what city and what borough. I mean, I got the lay of the land. And then things kind of settled, and then something else would happen, and then something else would happen. I had my nieces and my nephews, that they were ones that a few of them reached out to me. And we're just like, no matter what, you're my aunt, No matter what, you're my sister-in-law. There were a few that were really like, you are family. So fast forward to stuff going down and not very good things, and he found himself in some trouble, and it's pretty bad. But then there were, again, the sanctions, the factions and sanctions, people picking sides. And when you pick sides in situations like this, it's kind of a little absurd to me, because you can't, if something is taken or something is uprooted or something is destroyed, you can't really make up for that. You can't make up for it. You can't go get another person or get another thing that's of value or whatever the case may be. But, going to visit the family that I went last year to visit the family, and a lot of the folks were not very warm and inviting, as far as inviting me. When I say folks, all the family members were just like, no, you're not coming to my house. He doesn't want you he doesn't want us to bring you into our homes and have tea and break bread with you, because he just doesn't want to. He doesn't want us to invite you in, because if we do, it's like a betrayal to him.
So that's the saying everybody throws around, that blood is thicker than water, right?
Right. Even when common sense prevails, when for a fact that whatever the person did is they were wrong, they're guilty. For you to blame somebody else for that, it's kind of ridiculous. But outside of that, I'm just like, well, I've always been so close to everybody. Like, what's happening? What's happening? Me? You don't want me in your house? But it really threw me. I was thrown.
Wait a
I was
minute.
blown.
Did it really throw you though? Because you kind of knew, right? You made a decision that would impact relationships, right? You made a let's say you had to make a choice between right and left, and you decided to go right. The people would only support you if you went left. So were you really surprised by that?
Hell yes.
You just thought they...
No, because these are people that I knew. These are people that I knew. Now, these are people that have been part of my life for a long time, for a very, very long time. And so it's just odd that that they would think that way. That they've been in my home, they've lived with me, they've stayed with me in my many places across the country that I've lived. So it was kind of like, what? We can't have any buna? No coffee?
What? Oh, buna.
Oh my God.
What? ¿Qué es buna?
One, it is not Spanish, it's Amharic.
Okay, Amharic?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Ethiopia. It's one of many languages.
Okay, so what
dialects.
is buna? Tell me.
Buna.
Buna. Okay.
There's no O. It's a U.
Buna. Okay,
She's a voice.
I am. I'm gonna get it
coffee.
right. It's coffee.
It's coffee.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was upsetting.
So you were disappointed. I mean,
Yeah, I was very no.
You were upset.
There's a difference. I was upset. I was
Okay.
hurt. I was definitely hurt.
Okay.
And it was one of those situations where it really hit me. What you said, blood is thicker than water.
blood is thicker than water.
And people are going to have different sides of things, and they're going to be people in the same family or parts of the family who agree, and they agree to stay neutral, and they do. But neutral means they ain't saying shit.
They ain't in it. Yeah, they don't care.
They ain't saying anything. And and I talked to a couple of the people, specifically one person that I'm very close to while I was there in Ethiopia about it, and was just like, this makes no sense. And it's sad, but it also puts me in a place where I have a deeper understanding of where I am in the family. You kind of have that aha moment when it's like, you really, especially when your children are older, you really aren't, even though you think you're part of the family, you're an outsider. You know what I mean? But you are an in-law.
Yes. The good, what the good part about this is, it's not because of you, if that makes any sense, right? Like you didn't.
Oh, I know.
You didn't isolate yourself away from everybody. Like you tried to look past a lot of things, right? And
A lot.
and they just couldn't. They made a choice. They're being loyal, even if that loyalty is a little questionable, right? But I mean, I don't know. This is the way we could talk about it without talking about it, but. Yeah. So, I mean, that stinks. And I take it this really bothered you because this happened a while ago and you've been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah. It's actually kind of fresh because it's just like the year anniversary, of all of this going down. So it was kind of like, there's a lot of reminders of things coming up actually with this period of time. But it was just really one of those situations where you have an aha moment. It's like, yo, you're an in-law. Even though you feel like your sister and you are treated as a sister. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am loved and cared for deeply by the family, by my nieces and nephews and so forth. So it's nothing like that. But you have this aha moment when you're just like, yeah. It's you shouldn't be. It took so many years. I've been divorced. I don't know how many years. 13 years, 13, 14 years. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it took this long for me to get the, and it's because both kids are adults. The kids are adults. They're doing their thing, and I don't have to participate so much in certain events and so forth. So it's just really kind of, like I said, over the last year, sunk in.
So it was it was the kids that was keeping you connected, right? And they treated you
right.
And then once the kids became adults, it's kind of like they're not your I don't even know what to call them, but the thing that entices the family to treat you okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That stinks.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, hey, this sounds like Reason Season Lifetime.
Wow, but I like the way you segued into that. But no, that's supposed to be Lifetime, though.
Is it? I don't think
Yes.
so. Come on now, you got married people that aren't Lifetime. I mean, they get married and stay married for 30 years and then it's over. So no, how are in-laws supposed to be Lifetime?
Oh yeah, that's true. I meant the marriage part. I mean,
well, you know what though? But there are things that would. Okay, so this is just like being child of divorced parents. There's things that would bring them together, right? So when your children have a wedding, per se,
yes,
right, that would bring everybody together,
right?
When they have a baby, when the grandkids start coming, which would be their, grandkids, grandnieces, and nephews, and stuff. So stuff like that. So that's all. You just got that little gap. You tell your kids to get to work, and then it'll bring everybody back together.
Yeah, in the whole entire family, we've been saying this, like we need a season of weddings and babies. Weddings and babies. My brother got married last year. I'm like, yes, the wedding and babies era is here. So fingers crossed that we have the next 5 years of weddings and babies. I'm putting it out there to every one of my nieces, nephews, everybody else. It's baby time and wedding time.
You know how much it costs to put a baby in daycare? They're probably like, not right now.
You know what, though? You know what? I just discovered that I was paying a lot back then for my son in daycare because somebody called. My dad was telling me it was like $400 a week for my sister has twins. Oh my gosh, in California.
$400 a week for both of them?
No, for each. And I was just like, oh, wait, I was paying $400 a week for Matt back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait.
Well, you must have had like did you have a nanny?
And?
That's why. See, you know what? Shut up. Hang up.
Wait, but what's the difference?
I was paying $400 back in the day because you had a full-time person. Your whoever you just said is dropping the kids off and picking them up.
No.
Yeah. Your nanny was there 8 days a week. She's fixing breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What do you mean? Wait, back up. How? First of all, this isn't this isn't Family Ties. The nanny is part of the Family Ties.
Do you have family ties with someone? I mean, because you've been dating and on and off over the years. Are you still connected with family members of exes?
Actually, yes. A couple of them, their moms.
Okay.
They've kept in touch over the years, and I've just like, yeah. It's really funny because even with my son, a few of his friends, their mothers, we are besties. Even when they weren't talking anymore, like in junior high school or after football, was over, all that stuff, we remained friends. So that was the one that was like the weirdest one. Like family ties, we kept some of those family ties. And for the most part, like I said, my ex-husband, a lot of his friends, I am very good friends with. As a matter of fact, they're the ones that took me out in when I was in Ethiopia. They're the ones that showed me places and took me places. And there was one family member that I ran into at the salon of all places, and she invited me to her home, and I stayed quite a few days with her, and hung out with her. So I just think that it's really healthy. Especially if you part in healthy ways, I get it, and in my instant, it wasn't a very healthy way. However, I was still able to maintain relationships. But like you said, you basically poked me in the eye and said, "Oh, they only liked you because of the kids." and when the kids weren't there anymore,
oops, my bad.
It was like deuces.
But you know what though? So that's funny, and I'm so sorry that came. Look, hearing you repeat it back, I'm like, that was so mean. But it's funny. After the story I told you about the guy that I'm really close with, his family, he was like my first, serious relationship. After that, I had this thing where I didn't want to meet the parents unless it was like serious, because this is going to sound a little cocky, but I'm a likable person. And I'm like, I can't keep liking, having all these families like me and we don't work out and
so
stuff like
done
that.
with
Like
you.
it's rough because I don't want to break up with the family and the guy.
Really
like
rough.
it's rough.
It is rough. You're
it's
like,
hard.
Dang, I gotta give up your sister.
Right. We got our traditions and stuff. I gotta give that up.
Stylists. Yeah. So we're gonna run into each other.
Yeah. Right. Right. So yeah, I decided I didn't want to meet the parents. So when a guy, like I used to have commitment issues. So when a guy would talk about meeting his mom, I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is, we're not ready for all that yet.
Wow. More chicks should be like you. If more women were like you, man, that would be awesome. We wouldn't have any emotional issues.
We wouldn't. But you know what? We can talk more about that in these upcoming episodes. Because I read my notes, and I think you said later on sometime you want to talk about casual dating and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that falls in that category.
Oh, I got to learn how to do that. Seriously, I got to learn how to do that. We're going to definitely have to dwell.
And you're going to use me to teach you?
Yeah, you're a very good guide and mentor.
Okay. See y'all next time.